me, music is very important to get into the character. I'm always listening to music in my head to create like an atmosphere for my emotions and for the situations. Did you sometimes find yourself humming in your head like your own personal score of the scene?
You know what? No.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
I don't. I have my own personal stuff going on. There's no music. It's just everything else. Like everything else. I never have any music. Not one time. And I wish I wish.
For me, it really helps me. Helps you to get on the mood. And you move in a different way. It's interesting.
I'm gonna try that.
Try it. It's also fun. You get to score your own scenes. So, Mary, I want to ask you a question that many times actors don't even know themselves, but do you know why Beatriz offered you this role in Mudbound?
Well, speaking to her, she told me that she offered me the role because she didn't know anyone else that can play such a reserved, quiet, but powerful woman at the same time. She saw that in me when she met me, and then she was at one of my concerts, and she saw how explosive I was, and then I guess speaking to me, later, I'm not that explosive. I'm just kind of quiet and reserved. So I guess that's why she gave me the role of Florence.
And what did you feel when she said that to you?
I guess I felt like she was right. That's a part of my personality.
And what did you think when you read the script and you began to explore the role?
Well, when I read the script, I was blown away by the love story that was in all of the horror. There's like a horror, not a horror movie, but there's so many horrible things happening. But there was so much love in it. And then this character, Florence, was exactly who my grandmother is and exactly who all of my aunts are. They're all Southern. My mom is Southern, my dad is Southern, and my mom used to send us to Savannah, Georgia every summer. And I would see my grandmother. They had farms, and they would kill chickens, and whatever food we ate, they would kill it and pull it from their gardens. So this woman is in my DNA. And so it was just, I got really excited about playing her because I knew she was there. And I was also happy to play Florence because I could just give her so much of my heaviness. I was having a lot of heaviness at the time, due to my own personal life. And I would just give it to Florence and let her, all my insecurities, all my, sadness and anger and just paranoia, whatever it was, I would just give it to Florence.
And did it make you feel a special connection to your grandmother and all those women of that time?
Yeah, I really got an understanding of how they lived and how proud they were of their maybe 4 slip dresses and their garden and the house they lived in. Because my grandmother's house was kind of similar to the house that the Jacksons lived in, but it was a little bigger, but it was similar. It was, big, wood house, kind of plantation land looking, but it was theirs, and they were proud of it. They were proud, and they worked for everything.
Did you feel at any point that somewhere they were proud of you as you were playing this role?
The very first day that we shot, I sensed my grandmother in me, because there's this thing that she does when she puts her hands on her hip and she stands back on her legs, and I did it so like just effortlessly, and I just felt that she was there. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, no? When you can really connect to other women through your characters.
Yeah.
Like really connect.
You just come back.
I will.
You come all the way back. Yeah?
I love you, Mama.
I love you too, baby.
So, Salma, how did you become to be involved with Beatriz at dinner?
It was a very strange thing because, I've had to struggle really hard to get all the good roles that especially sometimes even for the bad ones, I've had to struggle to get them.
Right.
And this time it was such a beautiful thing that happened to me because Miguel Arteta, who I am a huge fan of, and he almost directed me in another movie, but then the movie didn't happen. And Mike White, who I just think is one of the best writers in America today, they came to me and they said, we have a project that we want you to be in. And I was super excited, and I said, can I read it? And Mike said, I haven't written it yet. I just have like an idea. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, it's a dinner. And then I said, well, what do I play? Like a masseuse healer. And I go, okay. And then what happens? And he goes, well, that's it. It's a dinner. And I said, okay. And I was actually very, very excited, even if I didn't know at this point that I was the lead. I was just so excited to be working with them. And I said, yes, let's do it, without reading the script. Then when I read the script, which, by the way, this conversation was 2 weeks before my birthday. On my birthday, I got an email from Mike that said, happy birthday. And it was this beautiful gift.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe that he wrote it in 2 weeks. And I also couldn't believe that he knew me that well. I know Mike, we're friendly, but I really felt that there were so many things that might not be super obvious in me, but that are such a strong part of me in this character.
Right, I was going to ask you, so why do you think he chose you for such a intense, because she was so intense and just really strong on her opinion all the time?
I think that there's some things about Mike and I that are quite similar that you could probably not see on a first glance. I mean, we cannot look more different to each other. And that he probably tapped into that part of me, that it's a part of him. I think there is a lot of him in Beatriz. And he's so brilliant at observing, because he saw that in me that most people don't see. And also because he saw this separation in America, and he wrote it before we were all so bluntly aware, you know, which we are now. But he wrote that before the political climate that we are living today, that I think was one of the things that revealed to us that racism is a lot stronger than we were open to admit at a certain time. Sexism is a lot stronger than we thought. And America, it's a lot more separated in ideology than we were aware of.
Right. So this character was actually really, really close to a part of you. Because she was really, really, just really strong on getting her point across about how she felt, regardless to how her friends treated her. They would welcome her into the house to spend the night, and she just wouldn't shut up. She just wouldn't back off of, this man being a slaughterer of, animals, and this man just being a racist. Like she was going in on him. So that's a part of you as well.
Yeah, but there is some similarities with our characters too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that Beatriz maybe is not so reserved in her opinion, which, by the way, I don't think Florence was.
Yeah.
She's reserved with her emotions, which they are very accessible to her, but as they are for Florence, but they are strong. They've had to be, both of them, to survive. And but they are really, maybe they don't show the emotions like we're used to in some other characters, where women are just like out there with the emotions. They feel it. You can see that they're feeling it, but they don't necessarily cry at every sign of pain.
But this character exploded. Like
At
she
some
would
point.
feel it and she just couldn't take it, and then at some point she imagined killing the guy.
You know, I think that Miguel and Mike, they left the ending open to interpretation, but as an actor, you have to commit to something. Right. You have to make a commitment. You cannot just do it, you know, well, it could be this or it could be that. For you, it has to be something very specific. Right. And also, they know that I am obsessed with water. I'm a diver for 40 years. Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, it's incredible how well this man knows me. And so for me, it was just, I needed to cleanse myself of having to confront the level of my anger. And how deep inside maybe I'm capable of the same things that he is. And so she just needs to cleanse. You know, she's not thinking about ending her life, or she's just thinking about going to the source.
Just getting it off.
And just getting it off, yeah.
So, where are you from?
Altadena.
Ah, where are you really from?
I was born in Tlaltecutli, Mexico.
Tlaltecutli.
Tlaltecutli, on the Pacific. Maria was so blown away by your performance.
Thank you, Salma.
So blown away by your talent that it made me think for a second that your beautiful voice, that, as you know, because we've known each other from before, I admire it not only because it's gorgeous and beautiful, but because you have always been able to make sensations travel through the voice. When you sing, we all really feel something. It's not a voice that you admire from a distance. It's a voice that grabs you. And you know, for a second I thought, my God, she's so talented. It was almost like a handicap. Had you not had that magnificent voice, you would have been like an A-list actress from the beginning. If you had decided to go into acting instead of singing, you would be just as successful, because you are just as talented with your craft as an actor as you are as a singer. But do you think that maybe your ability to project through your voice all these sentiments in some way help you as an actress, or is it completely a separate source?
That's a great question.
Of communication.
Yeah, I think it's definitely two different sources of communication. They're separate.
And you're equally talented in both of them. This is very rare.
Thank you. Thank you. But the gift to feel and express what I'm feeling is one thing. So it transfers into the acting. It's just another way to express myself. And it's the only way that I would want to do it. I don't want to, if people can't see me on screen and feel something, because people know me so well from music and, you know, oh God, you know, you made me feel this and you brought me through this. I want that gift to do the same thing in acting.
And it does, because you completely forget about your persona as a musician, which is an extra difficulty when you are coming from music and you have a certain image to have people forget about.
Well, we have some good news for you. We'd like to offer you a job working here for me. I'll need help with the girls, cooking, cleaning, that sort of thing. It means extra money for you and your family.
Salma, have you seen any positive changes for women in the industry?
No, this year, and it's been coming. I've seen a lot of changes. And I think you and I are proof of it. I mean, I remember when I started out, first of all, when I started out, they told me, not only for women, but also in the diversity. You know, when I started out, they told me, go back to your country, this is not gonna happen, you're never gonna get a good role because you're Mexican and they're, you know, none of the movies write roles for Mexican parts that are important roles. And I was a star in my country, so everybody with the best of the intentions, they said, it's the wrong place for you. You don't belong here, it's never gonna happen. They also told me, if it happens, it's gonna last until you're 35. Because women became, if you were kind of attractive, disposable after 35. Only the actresses that were more like consider, how do you go? I forgot the word because I didn't sleep. Character actresses would kind of continue to go on with smaller roles, of course, because they were also not films that were about a woman. And I remember thinking, I saw Casa de Muñeca, Dollhouse, this Ibsen play, and I was very young when I saw it, and I remember thinking, you know what? When it was over, I want to know what happens to Nora now. The interesting part about the life of Nora is what we don't see. You know, what happens to a woman after a certain age, because a lot of interesting things happen. And I was excited about getting to that age so that I could tell the story of women in that age. Where you come into maturity, when you understand life in a different way, when you understand yourself in a different way. And so when they told me this, that it's going to be over 35, I was like, wait a minute, but this is when we start to have a lot more, you know, juicy stuff to give. And I am now 51. Wow. And just now, I am becoming to, except for Frida, which it's a role that I had to create for myself, getting to the good parts, like, for example, Beatriz, you know, and that's changed a lot.
Wow.
I think the way they're going to treat us now is also going to change after what's happening. For a moment, I thought you were a different man, the man that bought the land in Tlatlekutli. For a minute, I freaked out, you know. Really, because I have to say, if you had been that man, I would have thought that fate brought us together. What kind of women would you like to play in the future? And would you experiment into writing these kind of roles? Because I think there is still one other layer of you that we're yet to see.
I think that right now, I would play more dramatic roles, because that's just where I am and who I am right now. And it's the only thing I feel that I can be honest with right now. Comedy, I don't know, I'm just not there right now. And as far as directing or writing, I definitely think I can do that at some point in my life, in my career.
Me too. Do you have any kind of women that you are attracted to tell their story, like more than others?
Well, I really, seriously really wanted to tell Nina Simone's story, be Nina Simone, because she reminded me of myself and my mom, you know, just reading a book and, you know, actually having a script at one time about her. She was just in so much pain from not being accepted because of all the, you know, and she had all this talent, and she was black, and they, you know, and she went to, you know, classical piano school, and she still wasn't accepted, but she was still so talented and boisterous. She still had a voice. She didn't let it push her down. And I think that story needs to be told. I think, what's the other woman's name? Lena Horne, like you don't.
I love Lena.
her
I mean, I
story
love
needs-
Nina
but
Simone, but I love Lena Horne, and
Yeah.
not many people know about her, by the way.
Exactly, and I know everyone knows Maya Angelou, but her story needs to be really told. So these are the women. And I played Betty Shabazz before in a Lifetime special called Betty and Coretta with Angela Bassett, which was a treat. I got to work with Angela Bassett. But yeah, these are the women that I think, and there's a lot more, but we'll be here all day.
But it's good that you want to tell stories of women that you admire, that you don't think their story have been told to the fullest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have to share this with you. So I love horror movies. I just don't know why. I'm just strange like that. And
Not strange. They are the ones that are like killing the box office. You're not alone on that one. I detest them, but you're not alone. I'm the strange one.
well, you might be the strange one because I saw you in a movie called From Dusk Till Dawn, horror movie.
Yes.
And it was like back in the day. And I was like, oh my God, this woman's body is my inspiration.
Oh my
You
God.
are one of my inspirations for being in the gym every day. I've been training like a maniac since then,
And it shows.
trying to get half of what you look like. So
Oh my
thank you
God.
for that. You looked and still look amazing, but
Thank
you were
thank
something
but
else. You had
if
us
you
all
saw
like,
me in a bikini now, you'd go to the gym even double the time because you wouldn't want your body to go to where mine is heading right
no,
now.
it's not bad. I know you got those genetics. Like you were just perfect. And I said, I want to be perfect. I want my body to be perfect like that. I want the perfect butt, perfect stomach. It was perfect.
Thank
I
you
had to
so
share that with
much.
you. Thank you
Thank you.
And Kitty Soft Paws,
Kitty
Soft
Soft
Paws.
Paws. That was fun with
I love
Antonio,
Puss in
so
Boots.
lovely.
Do I know you?
Oh, Doug's famous. He's been on the news. He's a mogul.
I have opinions, and because I have money, people listen.
I don't know why. I think I know you.
Well, maybe. Ever dance in Vegas?
You know, I don't watch my own movies very often, at all. Just because I don't watch movies many times.
Mm-hmm.
I watch them really well, though. Just like I don't read the script many times, and it stays on. So why would I watch mine more than once or twice? But I think just the movies that I do that are kids friendly. These are the movies that I have to watch a little bit more because of my daughter, because she wants to watch them many times. But I have to say that something different happened with Beatriz because this movie surprised me so much when I saw it that I wanted to see it again and again because when I was doing it, and for example, I really didn't think anybody was gonna like this film or watch it because the camera was on my face and I was not allowed to move or cry or nothing. And I thought it was gonna be so boring. And I'm not thinking about reacting, I'm just like being in the moment. But I thought my face, it was all internal. My face, I was not making any gesticulations. But when I see the movie, my face is not moving, but it's different. Mm-hmm. It's a different face on different moments, even if it's not moving. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I kept saying to Miguel, they're gonna be bored. Move away from me. Take them, because the camera was here. And he said, oh no, I know exactly what I'm doing. I was so lucky to work with this amazing director. I love him so much, I will love him forever. He taught me so many things, and it was Nirvana. So this is the one film that every time I watch it, every single performance, I find something different and a nuance in every single actor, and also in the lines. And with the time, because it was before Trump, you know, started running for president and all that, when he wrote it, as things happen in the news and I watch it again, and again I hear something different. So this is the one film that I am finding myself drawn to continue to discover things in it.
You the one always talking about saving. Our own and our own parts are the only way to get up from under their foot. We right there.
I don't want you working for them.
I won't be working for them. I'll be working for us. I already said yes.
Me, for a long time, I wasn't able to even hear my own speaking voice back, and I wasn't able to, I definitely don't like looking at myself or watching myself over again, but I had to look at myself in Mudbound at the Sundance, and when I saw Florence, I cried because she was in so much pain.
I know, that happens to me too with this one.
Yeah, she was in so much pain, and I was doing everything in my power to not look at her, but I had to look, and when I finally looked, I just started crying because she was just Florence, you know. She was in so much pain, and she was trying to hold on, but I didn't even know I was in that much pain.
Yes,
you
but
know?
you see it different than everyone else because you know what's going through her head, and you kind of can fall in love with one of your characters, and I can detach myself completely now and watch it as an audience, but still we have extra information about her than everyone else, so your heart can break for these women that we play in a different way. And I'm not looking at myself playing her. I'm just looking at the movie as an audience.
Exactly.
And she gets to me in a different way.
Exactly.
Like I am hearing.
Yeah, exactly. My performances, I do not watch.
No, I don't.
I don't want to see them again.
No,
I'm
you
good.
know, but you, I bet you would be interested in watching this one again. You would see something different because you're seeing that woman. You're not seeing you playing that woman.
The movie, yeah, this is different. This is different. Like, I would hide. Like, I couldn't hide from this. I was in the theater actually trying to hide, like trying to, you know, speak to everybody else, like, here comes your part, and here comes your part. And I just got trapped. And when I finally saw Florence, because I was afraid, I was like, here she comes, oh God. And then when she came, I got stuck and I just started crying because she was in so much pain. Like,
I understand.
she was carrying so much for so many, and just everything, it just
like
made
most mothers in America, especially at that time.
Florence came at a time where I was really low, feeling super insecure, not sure of my life, not sure of even who I was, and I didn't really realize that I was hanging on to so many things of the world that made me feel beautiful. So when it was time for Dee to strip me down, I fought, like I was fighting to keep lashes. I was fighting for fingernails and fighting for, you know, wigs and things like that. And I just didn't want to strip down because I just was afraid. And Dee finally convinced me to trust her in this. And once I trusted her and let Florence live, she really liberated me. She really, like, opened me up to my own inner beauty for real, not, you know, what I thought I've learned, but really, truly who I am. And that none of this matters, you know, how long my weave is doesn't matter, how long my nails or my lashes and how much makeup I have on, it doesn't matter, and I don't need that to be beautiful. So she completely just really helped me through a hard time.
I had the exact opposite thing because also my character, it's also with no makeup, lit in a way so that I look really worn out. And Miguel thought he was gonna have to struggle with me on this. They also tried to put the worst haircut so that I would look the worst, and patted me sometimes, not because they wanted me bigger, but because it was so cold, and I was just, I'm Mexican, Mary, I get cold easily.
Yeah, me too.
And I had to put some undergarments, and he thought he was gonna struggle with that, and for me, I was so excited. He showed me the haircut and said, oh yes. And I was so excited not to look good because for me it was like liberating not to have to look good. liberating that it was not something that had anything to do with this woman, has nothing to do with the way she looks. And I just loved it. I just felt really comfortable and happy to not have this burden that most women have to have of having to look good.
Right, well, I was struggling because I was going through some real
I understand.
heavy, like, you're not this, you know, these things in my mind, and I wanted to be beautiful for someone. I wanted to be beautiful.
And you were?
And those things,
And you were beautiful.
Right, but I didn't know, you know, I thought that these things made me beautiful to this person. So I just was afraid to let it go because I was trying to save something that was already dead. You understand what I'm saying?
But did it change a little bit your point of view on the person that was incapable of seeing your beauty?
Well, now, then I was...
But while you were doing the character, no?
Well, once I surrendered to the character...
That's where I'm talking about.
There was so many different things happening. I was surrendered, but I was still thinking, you know, I wanted to be beautiful for this person. I wanted to save my situation. And if this made me beautiful for this person, I wanted to keep it. So all these little things were still there floating around, but Florence had completely taken over. Yeah. She did, but I still had these things because I still had to go home.
For me, it was very...
You know, I still had to deal with reality.
I know. But
what do I do now? I can't be on the street like this.
The rebel came out on me, and I said, yes, I don't have to be beautiful for anybody.
Right, but now it's like, okay, now I'm running around with my own edges out. You know, I wasn't wearing my own hair out. You know, so I'm like, look, it is what it is. My forehead is what it is. My edges are what they are. The texture of my hair is what it is. The color of my skin is what it is. I am what I am, and Florence helped me to embrace that fully. So thank
there is
God
nothing
for Florence.
sexier in this world than talent.